So we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to cover, but pretty much I think there's a lot of things on the macroeconomic development studies, going over. Every day has a different thing. Every day has a different sort of news and data and something that we should analyze. Geopolitical developments, of course, huge things happening in terms of geopolitical events. An overall look at the opportunities in the market. I think with all of those volatilities, with a lot of the volatility that happens in the market at the moment, we do have a lot of opportunities as well. So yes, a lot of momentum, a lot of volatility, but a lot of opportunities as well. And I don't want you guys to think about, people say that, oh, I don't trade news, I don't trade macro, because I think this is all rug, it's all rugged and it doesn't matter. It's all stage. Well, get out of this mindset, because that's what moves the market. And I think now than never, it's when you can see that. Okay. Because think about it. We are having so many things happening on Trump and Europe and Ukraine, Russia, Canada, Mexico, some other emerging markets. And the market is moving crazily at the moment. So that's exactly what it moves the market. It's the geopolitical, it's the macroeconomic. Okay. So don't think about that this is not what is moving and it's another thing or whatever. Yes, it is. And then of course some future outlook. What can we wait, for how to navigate, I would say, the future economic landscape. And of course, guys, for those who are new here, I don't think anyone's new, but for those who wants to ask any questions, please just raise your hands or send it over on the chat, and I would definitely look once I have some time. Okay. So before we go any further, I have to put it up the risk disclaimer. So we'll put it up the risk disclaimer, leave it there for a minute, and then we should be good to go. And let's get to it. So this week has had somewhat of a rough start. I'm just in Nasdaq here. Let me put into the weekly chart and put into a candle. So we're only 2 days in and already 2.8% down. Okay, maximum was yesterday on 4.46% down. That's pretty much the whole week from last week. Okay, 4.42%. So this week has a lot to do with indices, and not only Nasdaq. We can see S&P 500 as well have the huge. Sorry, not this one. I need this lift one. Perfect. So this one here, we saw this huge move down, not as big as at Nasdaq, but 2.16% at the moment. And last week we had a whole drop of 3.15%. So kind of a big one, and a lot happening around the world, but mainly because of Trump, okay, and the trade policy. So the tariffs, but let's give a step back. On March 3rd, okay, so pretty much 7 days ago, 1 week ago, President Trump has announced that previously the tariffs that he delayed on the imports from Canada and Mexico, as well as China, they would take effect on the 4th of March. Okay, so pretty much the next day that he say that. And that decision made all of these things happen. Okay, so from last week to now, we saw pretty much 8% drop on S&P 500. Okay, 7% drop. And then on Nasdaq, we saw somewhere around 13%. Is that Nasdaq? Yeah, that's Nasdaq. Yeah, sorry, close to 10%. Now, there are some criticism happening with that as well. So Stephen Moore is the former economic advisor to President Trump. He criticized the tariff strategy as a misguided sort of thing. And he highlights the concerns about a very wobbly US economy and the declining consumer confidence and negative economic indicators. Because think about that we reflect into some way of bad for the consumer, not a good way, right? So and not only the consumer, but this will that has such a big potential of pretty much every country around the world having to put tariffs on each other, and that has started already. But anyways, that can create some sort of tariff war, and that's going to be a big problem. And then most likely we would have like a World War III or something, like Zelensky, Putin, and Trump. That would be something I don't want for my 2025. It's going to be on my son's history book. Now, the second point is the foreign policy and the international relations. So the shift onto Ukraine policy, just getting the hook from Ukraine that I've just mentioned, the Trump administration decision to freeze the weapon supplies and seize the intelligence sharing with Ukraine, it has pretty much strengthened the US and Europe relations. This move was pretty much prompt European nations to consider forming a coalition to support Ukraine independently, and then the Ukraine president comes in and say that President Trump accused Ukraine President Vladimir Putin, what's his name? Sorry, Zelensky, of being ungrateful for U.S. financial aid. I've mentioned that last week, and if you guys didn't saw that video, the interview that they had with Trump and what's his name, Zelensky, that would be really, really helpful for you to, it's I know it's a bit of a long video, it's a 45-minute video, but there's a shorter one that's 15-minute that it's definitely a good option for you to watch on a daily, just a quick video. So Zelensky pretty much thinks, Trump pretty much thinks that Zelensky is ungrateful for U.S. financial aid, that not wrong, more than $300 billion was supplied to Ukraine during the war from Biden administration. Okay. I'm not saying that this is wrong or right. Whatever they want to discuss, they will, because, in the end of the day, we don't have any power on top of those discussions. But I on that video, on that interview, I sort of noticed that Zelensky was a little bit of ungrateful, to be honest, because what I think he was thinking is, well, Trump won't win the election, and then Kamala Harris will come back and will continue to supply me with more money and intelligence and weapons and etc. With that, he was wrong because Trump won, and then now he wants to still play the big boy against all the other countries, and he wants to still fighting Russia. But if we look, it's not a good situation for him, because think about it, right? We have all of these things happening at the moment in the world. He could just be, a bit of grateful and, okay, I don't want to fight more because I know I'm losing, and I can make business with US now with Trump in power. He wants to continue. So most likely that will persist at some sort of volatility in the back end of the market. So it's going to be a pretty interesting thing for us to be watching. Now, into more domestic policies and initiatives from US. So the fund of the cuts to funding from to Columbia University, I think was around 400 million that Trump decided to cut in grants and contracts to Columbia University, and that's citing the institution's mishandling of the campus, the areas, etc., the money, the whole money, and that action sort of sparked some diverse opinions regarding the free speech and the appropriate of taxpayer money. In my opinion, yes, that will have some sort of, some sort of, I would say, in interpretation from the market, but not affecting Nasdaq or S&P 500 or whatever in full. Okay. Now the next thing is the executive action. So on 1st of March this month, President Trump signed the executive order designating English as the official language of the United States. And so additionally, he announced that, establishing of the U.S. crypto strategic reserve, including cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, on US. So basically trying to make America the crypto country, say about that. Market was, so happy. Oh wow, that's going to be fantastic, because Trump is establishing US as the crypto strategic reserve. So good. What can go wrong? Well, as we can see, everything, right? So everything can go wrong. And things are really, really not great at the moment. If we go to the 1 hour time frame, those gaps are from weekend because they don't have price feeding. Okay. So we saw from the top 109, pretty much 110K to now, 26% decrease in prices. Okay. I think there's two ways of trading Bitcoin. There's the way, not trading, there's the way of you actually investing and buying Bitcoin every month or whatsoever that you think that you judge to be correct. And the other way is pretty much just trading it, as a CFD product or as an option or whatever you're more familiar with. I think the most convenient way would be longing it and just waiting it. Okay, like they say, the long hold something like that, HODL. It's not the hold. It's a different name. Anyways, but with that in mind, you have two options, right? You can still hold and continue to do your DCA, so dollar cost averaging, but for that you need to have some balance on the account. So basically buying anywhere. So bought a bit here, bought a bit there, a bit here, a bit here, a bit here, and then if it keeps falling, you just keep buying. Because when everything turns around, your average price may be like somewhere around here. Okay, so everything here will count as profit. Okay, so that is an option, or you can just literally trade it and scalp it, or day trade or swing trade, whatever you want to do. My opinion is a continuation back to 70K. Okay, I'm pretty confident that 70K will be it. Let me just grab it here. Perfect. So I'm pretty confident that 70K will be hit. And if we get a Fibonacci from the top to the bottom, there are some sort of speculations talking about coming back all this way. Maybe not. Maybe we can have somewhere around here. on the gap. Okay, so that's the gap, and that's the CME gap. That's what they like to call, and that pretty much gets filled majority of the time. That's the weekend gap, and that gets filled majority of the time until Thursday. Okay, so we can see that we did have some other gaps here, like this one. Okay, so we had this other gap that was filled. This was Saturday, and then we had Monday, and then it was filled on Tuesday, so one day later. We had this one now. We have this one here that was filled up on Tuesday. We have, what else? This one that was filled up on Thursday. So it's pretty much a week to get filled. So maybe we can come back to this area. And then also in this area, I would be looking to short to 70K. Not sure about what would be the stop loss or anything like that, but we can probably see something around those lines. Maybe that would be a good trade idea for me, okay, on Bitcoin. Again, I'm not a trader on Bitcoin, so I'm not too big into it, all right? So make sure you guys understand that. I think until end of this month, we may have a very close approach to 70K. But the other point here is, if we ended up going, all the way down to, all the way up to 84 grand, 85,000 now again, what can potentially happen if Trump do a tweet, or Elon Musk, or any news related to Bitcoin, is that it will continue to go up higher and higher. And then we have other areas here that we could be looking to it. Okay. So that's pretty much it from Bitcoin. I think we have to pay attention, a lot of attention, to actually just do something. Yeah, pretty much on the 50% of Fibonacci. That's really interesting. Yeah. And let me show you guys something very quick. Let me add Nasdaq here and see how much similarity they have. Let me just put it to a line. So the correlation with it is pretty high. Go to the correlation with it is pretty high, and they move quite well together. Okay, very, very interesting together. So that's one point that I would like to show you guys. But with the US dollar weakness, US dollar weakening against a lot of major currencies like Euro, as we can see. Oh, sorry, let me take these, put it to candles again. Perfect. Where I'm predicting 1.10 to be the end of the trend. US dollar CAD going up, and gold somewhere going down sideways, I would say, but US dollar still going down deeper and deeper. And we can probably see coming back down to this area. Okay. Looks like. Because remember, we're still into a consolidation at the end of the day. Okay. We're still into that consolidation. So we just had that huge ride move up, try to break through, didn't happen, and then all the way down again. Okay. So very interesting how market is moving at the moment. Anyways, moving. So the next point is the geopolitical developments, right? So Russia and Ukraine conflict. So Ukraine President Zelensky is arriving in Saudi Arabia for discussions with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And they pretty much are focusing on a proposal for a Black Sea and long-range missile ceasefire, prisoners release, and granting the US access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. Because if you don't know, Trump could get a handle, if I can say that, from Zelensky to have access to the minerals. Okay, and these talks aim pretty much to address the recent pause in the US military AID. Zelensky has to be going somewhere because he wants to continue to fight. But for that, he needs more ammunition. He needs more, pretty much AAD and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. And then he's going to be seeking that with Saudi Arabia. And pretty much he wants to stabilize the region and secure international support, and not only because he tried from US and he got it from Biden, and then he's trying now from Saudi Arabia. So that's going to be really interesting to see how things will go. Now, talking about the international support for Ukraine, sort of like a formation of security coalition, the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he's hosting a virtual meeting with the global leaders, and they will be discussing the situation in Ukraine. The focus is pretty much on forming like a coalition of willing to support Kyiv, and that will include plans for peacekeeping force if a ceasefire with Russia is achieved. I think at the moment, everyone sort of understands now how good would be for the economy. Everyone would be, how can I say it? Everyone would be profiting from that, from Ukraine and Russia stop the war. Okay, it would not only be them and saving lots of lives, but would be a lot of other people's as well. Okay, so that would be fantastic if they stopped. But it's not up to us. It's up to Zelensky at the moment, because Zelensky is holding the, how can I say that? It's holding the fire. Putting is fine. Putting is fine. He said he stopped, not a problem, because he wants business with US, of course. So let's see how things will go the next chapters. The United States trade policies and tariffs had some global reactions. Okay, we all know that impose a swiftly reversed tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, US on Canada, Mexico, and China. And these actions have led to a lot of significant market fluctuations and raised a lot of concerns about the potential recession that is happening on US. I wasn't aware, but Peter Pan, the analyst here with me as well, CFA analyst, he was mentioning that there may be a pause into the government on Friday this month, like this week, this Friday, because there's no money for people on the government. So that's quite interesting, right? Because when we look back, I even made a video on that today, and think about what Trump asked. Well, one of the journalists asked Trump, "What do you think about recession?" And he's like, "Look, I'm fine. I don't think we're going to have a recession. I can't predict the future." That's not usually the answer that Trump would give to everyone. Trump would likely give like, "No, we don't want to have a recession. Don't fear out. Everything is under control." And because he always say what the population wants to listen, and that was a different time. So that's a little bit scary for me. Just trying to figure out what can possibly happen. I don't think US will have a recession, to be honest with everyone. Okay. Anyone? And does anyone have any questions? Sorry, long time I've been speaking. You didn't ask that. No questions, guys? All good? Cool. All right, moving on. Have a look at the USDJPY. I think we can continue still going down here. Okay. Most likely somewhere around 143, 144 would be my next targets. I've been telling everyone to short US dollar JPY since 157. For those who have been following me, know that and know that I'm not talking BS. So it's been an interesting market, very, very interesting market. And the forward guidance from BOG, from Bank of Japan, and Ueda and Kuroda, something like that, can't remember his name, has been a interesting way to sort of manipulate Japanese yen. Inflation has been rising somewhere on a controlled pace, and as that they wanted. Okay. And they've been saying, look, if inflation continues to go high, that's going to be good for us because we're going to continue to raise interest rates, and people will be looking more to buy Japanese yen than US dollar, especially now. Suleiman say, I think Ukraine president is scared of call off to election he's going to lose. That's a good comment. So let me read it again. Ukraine president is scared of election, gonna lose. I think he would win if he call off. To be honest, if he say like, oh, okay, I don't want anymore. I've been killing too many people. He just needs to be a man and be honest. Like, look, we've lost that much people, and they're too strong, and we don't want to go against them anymore, and we don't want to be. He's literally like getting money from other countries, from other taxpayers, to put into the war, to pretty much like rip it off the money. That's exactly what he's doing. Think about it. Because he goes to US and then asks the US for money. Biden gives to him $300 billion. Where's this money now? Gone on bullets, killing other people, on missiles and etc. So I think it's more like there's a word for that in Portuguese that I forgot. Let me just see the translation here on my phone. It's more like a youth. He's not like he wants to feel strong. He wants to show the world that Ukraine is small, but we are big enough to be against Russia. So congratulations for him, because that's a big thing, man. So that's what I think about Zelensky at the moment. I think has a big problem on his hands, to be honest. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Next. Sorry. DXY, I've already mentioned about DXY coming back to that levels. Okay. Euro dollar 1.10, I've been mentioning quite a few times already. Breakthrough here, 1.10 would be a good exit. US dollar CAD continue to go higher. NZD nearly got my shorts. Euro New Zealand dollar long. Okay, Canada. I had some notes on Canada. Let me just find. Okay, so basically, yesterday, if we look at US dollar CAD, for instance, we saw this huge move and a lot of weakness on the Canadian dollar, right? So that is here. So from here to here, we saw pretty much a 1% move. And what is happening is pretty much this. So Mark Carney, right? That's this guy here. I don't know if it's like that. That spells. Yeah, that's the guy. So he's the ex-governor of the central bank. He's like a former central bank with extensive experience on this field, okay? And he's elected to be the leader of kind of the Liberal Party, and he's very soon to become the next prime minister. And his leadership comes at a very critical time, as we see in U.S. Putting 25% tariffs on Canada. Some economic challenges as well. Canada is facing some economic challenges, including the tariffs. So I think with that, the Canadian dollar will be some of the good trades we may have in there. So the tariffs negotiation is the first thing. So the Canadian dollar strengthened by 0.3%, trading to 143.50 per US dollar. And then we had the reversal of that just yesterday because of the market sentiment, because Carney's appointment has influenced investor sentiment positively and then negatively again. So I think a continuation up would be decent. Okay, would be decent. But remember, for now, because he is a strong guy, he wants the stronger currency. Remember, he's the last former president of the central bank. So that would be pretty interesting to see. Okay. Now, let me see if I cover everything. Now is the future outlooks. What can we be looking to trade? Look, to be honest, I think at this time, I don't have much trades on my portfolio. I have like a New Zealand dollar CAD long. Sorry. Where's that? NZD CAD. Yep. I have a New Zealand dollar CAD long. Canadian dollar is strong, as I say, but will probably be weak soon. So I have a New Zealand dollar long. Where is the? There you go. Most likely, yes, coming back around here, and then a up move. Would it be decent to break the stop, or even somewhere around like here? Okay, so that would be good. I'll just take this off. Pretty perfect. So continuation, up move there. Squid says, how come the DXY suddenly became weak without any obvious signs? I'll get to your question soon. That's a very good question. But yeah, so I have this option into my trading portfolio. I have some longs on AUD NZD as well. NZD. Just some longs around here, looking to trade this area on the top. And I have some shorts on AUD CAD, so some longs on AUD CAD as well. Oops. Just trying to get the weakness of the CAD, sort of predicting that weakness to happen soon. Okay. I think we have that to be somewhere here, the bottom, and then a continuation up. Okay. Now, answering Sweet's question, you guys can see my screen, right? Yeah. Okay. So there are a few things, Sweets, and there were some signs, but they weren't obvious as usually they were. It's a different. We have to get off from the mindset of trading Biden and we're trading Trump. So much more fast-paced, much more things happen on the same time. It's sort of predictable when Biden was in power. Now it's unpredictability at all, like full unpredictability. So the first thing was the escalating trade tensions and economic uncertainty. So that implementation of the tariffs by US and from other countries, it fears global trade war. Okay, so if that makes investors fear it, they will move to fixed income. They will move to less variable income. Okay, And those measures, they have led to concerns about a potential US economic slowdown or even a recession that everyone is talking about now. And that's prompting the investors to seek safer assets, as I just mentioned. The second thing is shifting investor sentiment. So as I say, the recent comments from the President Trump, it's suggesting that a recession is possible, and they have further unsettled market. And this uncertainty has led to very significant sell-off on US equities with, Nasdaq, S&P 500, as we just saw. Third is changing interest rates expectation. There's some concerns about the US economy have led to investors to anticipate potential interest rate cut by the FOMC. And the global economic development, policy shifts in the other major economies have also played a crucial role into the DXY, not only US. So I think that would be the four main characteristics why that move fulfilled. I most likely PE. Okay. But that's pretty much it from me today, guys. There was some good questions from Suleiman and Switz. We cover up the macroeconomic space, geopolitical developments, and overall look about the opportunities and the future outlook. I hope to see you guys back here tomorrow from 5 to 6 p.m. Take care, enjoy your day, have a beautiful day, and I'll chat to you tomorrow. See you guys. Bye-bye.